very good and happy Thursday morning to everyone out there across the Wobbles region, the Commonwealth, and beyond. Landon here with you in the driver's seat, bringing you your latest weather or not forecast courtesy of On Target. Getting a look out here, folks, we're going to be dealing with much of the same weather story. We're going to be looking at the warm and mugginess that's going to be hanging around here. We can take a look at the satellite overlaid with the surface map. High pressure located to our east. Clockwise flow is going to keep that return flow here out of the south. It's going to keep us very warm and muggy for the foreseeable future. We will look at some increasing rain chances as we work into the early and middle part of next week, but the cool down that models were suggesting here over the past few days has somewhat backed off of that, right? Bad news, I know. Don't blame the messenger regarding that. Getting a look across the region, we got a beautiful view here overlooking our Proclaim broadcasting camera, located down in overlooking Barren River Lake, right there along the Allen and Barren County line. A beautiful start to what's going to be a very muggy day. We can take a look over the rolling farmland. Down in Gold City, Sexton Bin Builder Skycam got the low-hanging fog in some locations out there early this morning. Be aware of that, folks, if you're in the fog-prone locations as you roll out onto your morning commute. Let's take a look at those current conditions. Catching readings right around the mid and upper 60s in both the temperature and dew point department. Again, folks, we're a far cry from the mid 70s we were at this time a week ago, but it's still warm and still muggy out there, not quite as oppressive as what we were experiencing, so that is the good news, and we will take all the good news that we can get. Here's a little bit better view of the latest surface map. Nice graphic put together here by the National Weather Service. We are looking at that stationary front that will simply not loosen its grip across the deep south. High pressure remains parked right over the Appalachian Mountains. Clockwise flow, folks, that we've been talking about with that high pressure not going anywhere anytime soon. We're going to continue to see that return flow impacting the region. All right, let's jump over here and take a look at the latest model guidance. We'll give you the full breakdown of exactly what we're seeing in regards to what's going to be unfolding both in the short term and the long-term forecast. Heat and humidity sticking around. That's the name of the weather game here in the near future. We got afternoon heat indices that'll be hovering anywhere around the low to mid 90s. It's going to be the same song and dance as we roll into the final day of the work week as well. And then as we get into the start of the weekend, going into Saturday and Sunday, folks, this is pretty much going to be the same song and dance that we have grown so accustomed to. Getting a look out here and talking about in regards to any precipitation chances. Again, folks, it remains around the same story. We got these random pop-ups that's going to occur, especially during the diurnal peak heating hours of the afternoon. Had a few air mass showers and storms that blew up here yesterday. The weather or not compound got dang near 0.2 of an inch out of one of the downpours that developed. Couldn't have covered any more than about 5 square miles. It was a tiny one, but much of the same expected as we progress throughout today. On into tomorrow as well, any storm that develops with the amount of moisture available within the atmosphere, they will be very efficient rain producers in a short amount of time. We lose the activity with daytime heating not being able to fuel much instability. We roll into our Friday, and would you look at that? Random stray air mass storms, isolated showers developing across the region yet again. We look to be a little bit drier throughout the weekend with the upper ridge building in here. Not quite as much of a trigger that's available. That ridge building in here out of the south and west should provide loads more sunshine throughout both Saturday and Sunday. We'll be looking at lesser rain chances, but that will be changing as we flip the script as we roll into the early part of next week. All right, here's the breakdown for you. We are looking at right around Sunday afternoon. And we're going to be taking this into the future here and showcase what's going to occur between the early and middle part of next week. We get into Monday and Tuesday. High pressure continues to cement itself right here. That's going to keep our flow out of the south and west and see the moisture available. You will note here on Monday, you see the blatant reflectivity blossoming, stretching right here north of the Great Lakes down through the Central Plains. This is where a cold front is going to be setting up shop. And then, as we roll through our Tuesday on into the Wednesday time frame, that is whenever we are going to see the cold front approach here out of the north and west. Now, folks, as previously mentioned, models have backed off on the strength of this cold front It looks to be much more of a cool front, if you will, that's going to kind of wash out as it steadily progresses south and east of the region. Now, models were hinting at dew points dropping all the way down to the 50s, temperatures dropping down to the upper 70s, the lower 80s throughout this point in time. Guidance as we progressed throughout the day yesterday, throughout the overnight and on into this morning, has kind of backed off of that idea, unfortunately, and we're going to show you exactly what we're talking about. But first and foremost, Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, with a cold front approaching here out of the north and west, we are expecting scattered showers and storms to make appearances. There'll be much better chances for rain during this period of time than what we've been experiencing here over the past several days with this isolated blossoming showers and storms, all right? Now, for the bad news. So let's jump over here and let's take a look at the dew point readings here that is forecast across the region, all right? You can see currently we've got readings right around the upper 60s to lower 70s. If you recall yesterday, as we worked into the middle part of next week, we had a nice little cut here of northerly flow coming in and really backing off and suppressing those dew points down to our south with that passing cold front. Folks, I'm going to let the model guidance here tell the story, but we're going to put this into motion beginning today, taking us all the way through the weekend, taking us all the way through the early days of the new work week, and bringing those dew points, not letting loose on its grip, all the way through a week from today, all the way through the following weekend before we finally get some breaks in here. Those dew points are going to be waffling back and forth anywhere around the upper 60s to lower 70 range throughout the vast majority of the next week to 2 week time frame. Now, we might catch some instances where we catch a northerly flow component for a day or so, bring those dew points down to the upper 50s, lower 60s, like what you see here. But again, folks, this model guidance right now we're looking at is valid for Tuesday, August 19th. So we're talking 12 days out from now. So hopefully we get some model change, a little bit coming back into the fold, if you will, that we can catch some relief in here as we roll into the early and middle part of next week. Jumping back over here and talking about the short range model forecast, those isolated storm chances, going to stick around our vicinity, folks, but we're not expecting any sort of severe weather. Efficient rain producers will be possible, but outside of that, that's about all that we're looking at. Tropics remain very active out there. They have upped the ante on this tropical wave rolling off of the west coast of Africa. Now a 60% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 7 days. Tropical Storm Dexter continues to go off and press eastward off of the east coast. Same with this disturbance here right off the coast of the Carolinas as well. Total rainfall amounts in the rainfall forecast department has been upped. We mentioned that this was expected yesterday. It was showcasing nothing at all to right around a tenth of an inch. That has been up to around a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. And again, folks, the bulk of this should be falling around the Monday to Wednesday time frame whenever that cold front's going to approach and pass through here during that time frame next week. Here's your full 6-day weather forecast breakdown outside of an isolated pop-up shower or storm. Hot and muggy today all the way through the end of the weekend with sunshine dominating the skies for the most part. We roll into the early days of the new work week, and as promised, that's whenever the showers and storms reappear in the forecast, but you will note temperatures remain lodged right around the low to mid-90s across the entire region. Friends, it's going to wrap up your Thursday morning Baby Friday edition of your Whether or Not forecast, presented by none other than our Target. You all take care of yourselves and each other. Have a fantastic next